In this video, I will show you a simple AI workflow that I believe is helping people become millionaires by making newsletters. Now, the newsletter phenomenon has taken off and people are becoming seven-figure entrepreneurs using a very simple business model. And with the workflow that I'm going to show you, anyone can do this. Even if you've never done an email newsletter before, maybe you've never even had a website before, you can actually make profit with this. Now, a little bonus, at the end of this training, stick around all the way through because I have some special prompts and additional techniques, including how to use Notebook LM. That is Google's totally free AI tool. I'll show you how to use these to produce killer email newsletters. And we'll talk about how you can turn these into cash-producing machines that bring money into your bank account like clockwork. And with that, let's get into it. Okay, cool. So I have all my training here in this slide deck. There are notes and additional materials that will be really helpful to you. And if you'd like the deck, I'll give it to you. It's totally free. All I ask is you subscribe to my Ingeniosity newsletter. It's 100% free. We send out an episode every Friday that's packed full of marketing and entrepreneur goodness. Shows you how to make money, how to get visitors to your website, and so much more. It's all free, and I'll give you the deck just for doing that. So keep an eye out for the link down below or in the comments on where you can join the totally free Ingeniosity newsletter. So we're going to talk about how you can take YouTube videos and transform them into crazy profitable email newsletters. So what I have found is that when you have a really great piece of content that you have found, and it could be one that's not even your content, or it could be a video that you personally have created, what can you do to take that and transform it into an email newsletter? We're going to focus in particularly today on this case study, which is startuparchive.org. And we found this in doing our research on this business model. They're doing something very, very similar to what we're doing that I'm going to be showing you today. And you can see here, they do these little case studies that are based on videos of various entrepreneurs and their video content. So every day they take a long form podcast. They look for a podcast interview from a startup or an entrepreneur, a CEO, a founder, and then they release it as an email newsletter. And they do it daily. So they do one a day. And then at the end of each newsletter, they'll link to the full video that they were actually doing their summary for. So basically the value add of what makes the newsletter so useful to people is they're taking a lot of information and summarizing it and putting it into nice bite-sized actionable kind of training and content. And then at the end, they just link out to their source material and give full credit for it. Now, usually the videos that they're working with are 30 minutes or more in length. Some of them go on for hours, like if you think of Joe Rogan and his podcast, some of those can go on for on and on and on. And I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to watch a 3 or 4 hour podcast. So this kind of a newsletter has a lot of value to someone like me. And I don't know about you. Do you have time to sit through? And I'd like to know this. Here's a question for the audience. And drop into the comments below and let me know. Do you like to listen to long podcasts? Like the Joe Rogan style 2 and 3 and 4 hour long podcast? Or would you rather have nice, concise information in bite-sized pieces that's got the actionable, useful bits summarized for you? Which would you personally prefer? I'm very curious to know. Pop that into the comments below and let me know. I know for me, what I prefer, and that's why these newsletters are so useful, but I'd like to know about you. What do you like in terms of content, how you consume your content? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a YouTube video. Pretty self-explanatory. And in fact, if we just go to YouTube, you just search on almost any topic, how to grow beans. How to grow beans, okay? There's a never-ending supply of content, right? So I've just put in something very obscure and very, very weird. But obviously on other topics, on any topic, you're gonna find YouTube videos and you'll have an endless supply of content. And you can apply filters to this if you use the filters feature here. You can apply to, if you only want recent videos. Look at this, all these are how to grow beans videos. All of these are over, 20 or 30 minutes in length. Wow. This one is an hour of content about how to grow beans that we could summarize if we had a gardening newsletter as an example, right? So this can work for just about any topic. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the transcript. If you don't know, almost all videos come with a transcript from YouTube, but there is a really cool tool called YouTube Transcript Generator, which it's linked to here in the deck. So if you want the link, just download the deck. Again, it's free. Just join our newsletter and we'll give you the deck to get the link to that. But it's Toasty YouTube Transcript Generator. For fun, I'm going to take one of the bean ones. Here's our hour-long beans podcast. Okay, so we can take our link here and we come over here to the transcript generator. And there are other ways to get this. You can even get it straight from YouTube. Right here is our transcript. So if you click that where it says formatted transcript, you can adjust the format here. So we take the timestamps out, and then you can just say copy to clipboard. And so that's going to copy it to my clipboard. So next, we head over to ChatGPT, and we're going to actually prepare ChatGPT to do this task. So when you do that, we're going to take this prompt. And again, the prompt's available in the deck. So everyone who downloads the deck and is in part of our Ingeniosity newsletter, you'll all get this prompt. But we'll take this prompt, and we're going to go open a new ChatGPT conversation. I like to use 4.0 for this. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to put the video title where it says the big bold letters there. We're going to paste the video title in there. And then we're going to put the name of the original uploader. Here where it says uploader name, we're going to put that in there. And then we submit the prompt. And basically, we're priming ChatGPT for the task that we're about to have it do. So now it says, I'll be ready for your additional instructions to repurpose it. And now we're going to move on to the next step. So we've done that preparation step. Step 4, we're going to feed the transcript to ChatGPT. And here is the transcript, the prompt that we're going to use to give the transcript. Okay, so we'll come back to ChatGPT, and we're going to have to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our transcript generator, and we're going to copy it, and we're going to put it right here. See the all bold where it says transcript? We're going to highlight that, paste. You can see it's a lot of text, and we're going to submit it. So now ChatGPT is analyzing this, and we're ready to go to the next step. So now we're going to start telling it what to do with this. So it understands what it's supposed to do. It knows it's going to make a newsletter. It's going to read the transcript. And now we're going to give it instructions on what to do with that. Our first step is to have it do our newsletter intros. So we're going to copy this prompt that's included in the deck. We just paste it as is. Here we go. So now it's actually creating our newsletter episode for us. Fantastic. So there's our newsletter intro. Next, we're going to ask it to give us our newsletter body. And this is the prompt for that. Again, we'll give all of these to you. Let's go back to ChatGPT. We're going to paste our prompt in and submit it. What it's doing now is it is giving us 10 possible topics or themes that we could cover in the newsletter about this interview. And what you want to do is you want to narrow it down to your favorite 3. And that's what's coming next. So you want to look through what it's given here. Let's use some examples. I like number 2. I like number 3. And I like number 4. So 2, 3, and 4 are my favorite ones out of here. Then it's asking us which ones we want it to use. We're going to now take the next prompt, go back to ChatGPT and paste it in. So I'm going to go 2, 3, and 4. All right, so I put those in right there and hit submit. And it's now going to write our newsletter. So we've got our intro, which was done up above. Now it's writing the body of the newsletter, which is going to be really good content. So based upon what we've done here, you're going to be providing a lot of value to your readers. And again, in this case, we're doing it on a business topic, but you could do this on literally anything. Like you saw earlier, any niche market that you could possibly imagine, this can be done in. Well, that's it. So I just finished our newsletter. We're going to move on.
AI Bill here with step 8, add your commentary. I accidentally left this out of the original training, but it's important to know. For this step, you'll be adding your own 2 cents to each of the insights you got out of ChatGPT. You don't have to write an essay here. Just a sentence or 2 for each insight is honestly good enough. Think of it like writing a tweet for each insight. You can also contribute links you think might be helpful or relevant to each of the insights ChatGPT came up with.
So now we need a conclusion. So your newsletter is going to be composed of your intro, the body of the newsletter, and your conclusion. And this is the prompt here that we're going to use for that. Okay, so now we're going to paste that final prompt in here. We're going to submit it, and it's going to write the conclusion. And it's doing a pretty good conclusion. And then there's a spot where you would link to the original YouTube video. Now, again, this can be used for 2 different ways. If you're summarizing someone else's video, you just link to their video. Give them full credit. You don't have to pretend that this, is your content. Your readers are going to get incredible value by you bringing this to them and helping summarize it, highlight some of the good points of the content and so forth. So whether it's your video or someone else's, link to it. Give them full credit, and it'll give you a ton of value and your readers a ton of value. Next, you're going to copy it and paste those 3 parts together. You can adjust, tweak. You can even feed the whole thing back to ChatGPT and ask it to make changes or improvements. You're going to need an email newsletter software in order to do this. And one of the ones that we use is one called Beehive. I'll drop a link in the video to that below the video. So below the training, we'll have a link where you can sign up for a free trial of Beehive. That's the preferred software, is what we're using. There are others, like I've been recently taking a look at what was formerly ConvertKit, which is now kit.com, is another example of an alternative place to host your newsletter. In many of these cases, this is a business model where that company would give you all the tools that you need to run that business model. So you sign up for Beehive, it'll help you get subscribers, it'll help you send emails, it'll even help you make money. And the same with Kit. Kit will do the same thing. It's a place kind of like your central location where you run your newsletter business. Drop in some comments if you'd like more training on which of these platforms should you use. If you want to know more about the email newsletter platforms themselves, if there's enough interest in that, we'll add it to our lineup for future training sessions. So we can do maybe a review or talk more about which ones are the most profitable, but just let me know. If there's enough interest, we'll cover it on the channel. So we're going to tweak, we're going to publish, we're going to send it out, and we are going to profit, okay? Now, if you're interested in how you make money with an email newsletter, we've done a great training video that's on the channel. Again, I'll drop a link to that below, but the video will also be included in the downloadable slide deck if you want to watch that. And that gets into much greater detail about how you actually make money. How do you get the profit in your pocket with this business model? And there are a lot of ways to make money. I'm going to cover some of those. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And I got a bonus tip coming up. So stick around because we're going to be showing you how to use Notebook LM to do this in an even cooler way, perhaps an easier, better way using Notebook LM. So stick around for that. So we'll cover that in just a moment. I want to let you know that I am a huge believer in this newsletter business model. In fact, producer Nick has spun up a newsletter for us. That's the Ingeniosity newsletter that you've heard me talk about. Right now, we're using Beehive, is where it is currently hosted. And every week he sends out an email newsletter out. And we found there's been a variety of ways to make money with that. We actually can make money by promoting our own newsletter. It's really quite interesting with something Beehive calls boosts. So when we get a subscriber to our newsletter, we actually make money by doing that. And I talked about that in that other video that we'll link to below that you can watch later. But the next thing is you can also make money by showing sponsored ads in the email newsletter itself. And we've had great luck with that. And it's surprising, some of the huge brands that will drop sponsorships, like HubSpot has sponsored our newsletter as an example, which is a giant in the marketing industry. So it's pretty easy once you start to get subscribers, and you don't even need that many. I mean, our list was at the point we had only like 2,000 subscribers and we were already getting sponsorship offers. And that was when it was really little. So as it grows, you'll just get more and more opportunities for sponsorships. But my favorite way to monetize a newsletter is just by selling either affiliate products or your own stuff. To me, those are by far the two most profitable. Again, there's way more training, more detailed deep dive on how to make money with a newsletter. Those are a couple of ways to do it. So if you've got a product or service, a newsletter is a great way to get leads, warm them up to your brand, and sell your stuff. Second, you can sell affiliate products. Third, sponsorships. And several other methods I didn't talk about. So you can check that out in the other training video. Now, I know a lot of people here on the channel are highly interested in Google's new Notebook LM AI tool. At this time, it's free. They're given access to basically anybody who wants it. And we've done a lot of training on the channel here. Okay, so here is our bonus tip. So not only can you use ChatGPT for these videos, you actually can use Notebook LM to actually enhance the quality of your newsletter, to fill it with more information, and to get a lot of useful stuff out of it. So when you come into Notebook LM, all you're going to do is just say create new. So we're going to create a new notebook. And what you'll notice, you can either upload sources. So we could even copy and paste our basic newsletter we already did. But what I would recommend is over here, we click on YouTube. We can actually put the YouTube URL right in here. So for this, let's do something fun. We're going to use the Bean podcast. We're going to do an episode on how to grow beans using Notebook LM. So we're going to just paste that in there. And now when I submit this, most YouTube videos, the transcripts are really easy to get and Notebook LM works great. But if you run into any problems, just use the transcript tool that I mentioned earlier. Okay. So we'll say insert, and now it's doing its thing, doing its analysis. Oh, okay. There we go. From here, there's a lot of things that we can do. And let's go over to the training segment here. In this, see with the generate button there, that we can generate a podcast, okay? So what we can actually do is make a podcast episode of our own. So we can take this hour-long podcast distill it down to its most important, most actionable parts, and create a mini podcast that's only about 10 minutes in length and offer it to our readers. And again, this provides a lot of value because it's distilling down a lot of that information. So when we hit generate, it would just generate the podcast. But one other thing we can do is we can click customize, and we can say, please focus on the important details and actionable instructions. Okay. So we're telling it here to focus on details and actionable instructions. But you can customize this to be anything you want. So we're telling Notebook LM, we wanted to make a little mini podcast about our newsletter episode and about this video, and you can guide it to be like what you want it to focus on. You could tell it you want to focus on certain particular aspects of it. Let's see, I'm going to say focus on beans, okay? Since it's about beans and cucumbers. So we'll hit generate. And you'll see here, it is actually generating a little mini episode.
All right, so are you ready to get those gardening gloves on? Today, we're diving deep, deep into the world of growing beans and cucumbers.
Sounds refreshing.
It is. We're taking inspiration from this really cool YouTube video.
Oh, cool.
From NParks SG. I think it's probably the Singapore National Parks Board, their channel.
It's going to come up with a short audio podcast. So now your audience, your readers, have access to the newsletter you've created and a short 10-minute podcast that's being generated now. You can just simply upload that to your website or any podcast host and have even more value that you're giving to the people that are subscribing to your newsletter. For us, that's how we run our newsletter, our Ingeniosity newsletter. We're always trying to provide value. So if it's a new insight, if it's actionable tips, links to other people's training, it doesn't have to just be me. Summaries, we can take long bits of training and summarize it down into nice actionable pieces. Our slide decks, like you see how we give our slide decks away to our subscribers. All these really cool ways of just providing more value to the subscribers is really the key to making more and more and more money with an email newsletter. And so here we've now made a short 10-minute podcast, but I want to show you a couple other bonus tips of what you can do here with Notebook LM. So let's say on top of the newsletter episode that we already made with ChatGPT, we also could create a frequently asked questions about this topic. And all you got to do is tap it. So I clicked on frequently asked questions and boom, it went to work. It's actually creating a list of all of the questions that your audience might want to have answered regarding this training. There we go, right there. All right, so we have 8 of the most frequently asked questions. We could just literally copy this and paste it into our newsletter. And this becomes an even more value pack. So now we have our intro, we have the 3 points, we have a frequently asked questions, and then we have your conclusion. You're just putting more and more and more value into your newsletter. And that's not the only thing. You can create study guides, you can make a table of contents, and this works like ChatGPT down here. So we could literally come down here and ask it to please summarize the most important actionable tips in this video. We're essentially using AI to talk to that video. Okay, here we go. So we got our whole list there. These are the most important actionable pieces out of that video. So we could copy and paste this into our email newsletter. So it becomes a phenomenal way to just keep making your content better and better and better. What I would suggest is if you're not familiar with Notebook LM podcast, we have some training we just recently put on the channel. You can learn all about how Google will actually create high quality podcasts with 2 guests that sound human. In fact, I've had a friend of mine played one of these for their spouse. They didn't know that it was an AI. I just literally played and asked them their opinion, and they thought it was a great podcast. They had no idea that it was AI. So Google is doing amazing stuff. So it'll create these for you. They're free, and then you can use them in a bunch of ways to make money in your business. And I've been covering it on the channel quite extensively. So refer to the other videos about Notebook LM if you're not familiar with it. But now, within a few minutes, as I've been doing this training session, over the course of this video, I've created a valuable email newsletter. I have created a 10-minute podcast. I have a frequently asked questions. I have all the most important actionable details about that video. And I've summarized it all and have it in a nice package that my readers will love. And now I can make a lot of profit from my email newsletter. In fact, little secret. So this is what we've been doing for quite some time now and producing a lot of profit. We're selling, like in my company, we sell higher ticket products. When I say higher ticket, they're usually $1,000 to $5,000 in pricing. And we are routinely selling those products from the leads coming from the email newsletter. So that's as an example. So someone comes in as a free email newsletter subscriber, they get tons and tons of value from that newsletter, and they ultimately end up buying very expensive products from me. I mean, I couldn't imagine how many more I'd be selling if I were selling an inexpensive product. So it's an incredibly useful and valuable way to run and start a new business. Now, final thing I'll wrap up with is this is a great way to bolt something on to your existing business. So if you've got a business, you just heard how I'm using newsletters, right? I'm getting more leads. I'm warming up my leads and getting them primed and ready to buy from me. And then I hand them off to my sales team or over to one of my webinars, and they're buying high ticket products. So it's an awesome thing to add to an existing business. But if you haven't yet started your first business, this is a phenomenal business model all by itself. So you just run your email newsletter, you get subscribers. I've got all the training here on this channel that will teach you how to get subscribers. It'll teach you how the money-making methods that we use to make money with our newsletter and so much more. So just keep getting content here on the channel. Go back through our archives. You can see the training on how to do this in much more detail. But this is, it's fully endorsed by me. It is one of my top 3 recommended ways producing money with a brand new business. So there you have it. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You'll see the red subscribe button down below. Give us that thumbs up, give us that subscription, and in exchange, it's a trade. You give us that, we'll give you lots of value, and we will keep delivering valuable training here on the channel that will show you how to make money, how to build your business, how to get new customers, everything you need to succeed as an entrepreneur. I will keep giving it to you here on the channel and elsewhere. Just give us a subscribe and drop your comment down below. Let me know, what kind of content do you like to consume? Do you like long, epic podcasts, or do you like short, like bite-sized pieces of actionable information? Let me know your preferred and then pop that into the comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. You may or may not know, I have an AI tool that's a company called PushButton AI that helps people build course businesses. It builds the whole business, bottom to top. It helps you do the research to pick the niche market, helps you figure out what topics you should write about, what your course should be about, what the lessons should be about. It outlines the lessons. It writes the whole thing. It creates your sales page. It creates your page to get leads to subscribe to your business. It even writes your email sequence. It does audiobooks, video trainings, and a whole lot more. You just answer 2 questions and you hit a button, and it does it all. If you're interested in that, certainly you can book a demo to see it for yourself. You'll see with your own eyes. We're often running webinars and other trainings as well. So I'll drop links to either our webinar or our demos down below so you can check it out and see if it's something for you. But I found that most people get really overwhelmed and frustrated with the technical stuff. So that's why we created PushButton AI. If you're looking for a tool, we'll just do it for you, and it'll just handle the technical stuff. So when it comes to like setting up your web hosting, registering a domain name, setting up your email marketing, we even include a complete, fully functional email marketing platform that you can log into and email all of your customers and subscribers. It's all included. And all of the tech setup is done by the AI. If you want that, then definitely schedule your demo. You can get a demo from us by going to pushbutton.ai/demo. Now, at the time of recording this video, PushButton AI is not publicly for sale, but if you book a demo, they'll show you the technology, and if it makes sense, if it's something that can really help you, they'll invite you into our early access program. But what they'll do first is show you the technology. They'll talk about what kind of a course you might want to make. They'll talk about your business plans. They'll help guide you on what the right choices are for creating your first course business. And then if it makes sense, if it's the right tool for you, they'll invite you into the early access program. But check out the demo. It's mind-blowing. Again, that's at pushbutton.ai/demo. That's pushbutton.ai/demo.